All right, here we are, and if you think that this is a fish, it's not. It's a pencil case, and this one tricks me all the time. But let's look at this and do our little review. So in terms of difficulty, again, it's not overly complex. It's pretty easy to do, kind of a flat object. And now, of course, if you want to do both sides, then you'd have to flip it over or do some other things there. But let's just talk about, if you just wanted this one side. So subject difficulty, scale of 1 to 10, it's pretty simple. It's not that difficult. So, it's like a 4, maybe something like that. Not a lot of depth to it, not a lot of complex shape or anything else. It's more or less flat. So you can photograph this from a number of different, or a few angles. Now you'll see here, we don't have a lot of good coverage. Okay, so we only have a few photos. And actually 8 out of 10 photos, resolved or actually were able to reconstruct. So we're kind of limited, so this could have benefited from additional photographs. And in fact, if you look at it from this side, there's nothing on this particular angle. So what it did was it just tried to close the mesh here. So that's not great. We want to see some more photographs there. In terms of coverage, so that's what I'm talking about. You could have gotten more from the other side. The lighting isn't too bad. I think the organization here could have been good if they, did the same thing on the opposite side. Now, if we look at the actual photos themselves, if I get in close here, you'll see that they're not that crisp. Okay, so the images are okay. There's some really fine texture here, but if we have a look at some of the settings, well, first off, if we go up here, I can see that this is with an iPhone. Okay, so there's going to be limitations on the lens and the camera. So obviously, using a better camera would have provided better imagery in this particular case, I think. Okay, and that's just because you're going to get more control. So blurring out here at the back, so that had something to do with probably the f number, being able to get a nice high f-stop number and crisp image all the way through, I think would have helped significantly. So there's not all that much we can do with the iPhone in terms of control if somebody was just kind of using the automatic mode and pointing and shooting. So let's just leave that. The images could have been better. But let's have a look at the mesh now and see what we can recover here. So we've got that. So the mesh is okay. It looks pretty good. You can see that we're getting these little, almost like the scales reconstructing here, which is not too bad. But of course, when we get on this side, it's just a mess. It just kind of tries to close the gap where there wasn't any information. So it's okay. It is a relatively simple model, so not a big challenge. The texture looks pretty good, but in terms of overall score, there's a lot more that needs to be done here. So I'm gonna give this like a 5. It's it looks good from one angle, doesn't really look good on the other angle, and just needed a few extra photos, and this would have been no problem at all.